Good morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. And good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Saturday morning. I think it's November 10th. It is, no, it's not November 10th. I don't even have the month right. Usually I'm not off by the month, by 2 months. It's January 10th. It is 7:01 a.m. Happy Saturday. Coffee with Ken is a show that I've been doing for quite some time. It is a show about me talking, show about me sharing some feelings, sharing a little bit about the ups and downs we have in life, kind of sharing one man's adventure as he navigates his path. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Kendra. Good morning, Mason. And I think Nick and Narendra. Good morning. You're at work. All right. Well, Narendra, enjoy your day at work. I wonder what you do that has you at work on a Saturday. But anyway, again, Coffee with Ken's a show I've been doing a while. And it's a show about me talking and kind of sharing some stuff. I feel like the stuff's been a little heavy in my life. But I really don't think the stuff has changed at all that I'm dealing with. I just feel I don't feel as strong or as energetic as sometimes I do. I wish I did today. I'm your caregiver. Hello, Jaws. Oh, wow, we got a nice little audience right off the bat. I tell you what, that puts a little smile on my face, so thank you all for joining. Again, yeah, I felt like life's been a little heavy the last couple of months, and I've had a little less energy and a little less pep in my step, and kind of feel, it's funny because I got to decide which audience I'm talking to. I want to say that life's got me by the certain body part, but I don't think I want to say that in front of some of the ladies that are in the audience. But that's not even totally true anyway. I feel I'm where I'm supposed to be. I feel that life is occasionally a little heavier sometimes than others. And I feel I continue to move forward with a certain confidence, calmness, peace that maybe's been lacking in most of my life, and I just I'm not giving myself enough credit. Ooh, look at this. How's this? Should we do this? I hope my pizza was good. It was okay. I mean, my buddy's wrong. It's not nearly as, I had the Tombstone pizza last night. It was fairly okay. I mean, it was Tombstone, but it's nowhere near as good as the Home Run Inn pizza that I enjoy so much. It's okay though. Hello, Dylan. How are you? Hello, Nancy. Hello, Matthew. My TV is on fire. It certainly is. My face is almost on fire. I haven't shaved in a couple of days. I mean, I don't understand how people with beards, good morning 55, do it, because I can't stand the feeling of facial hair. The debate in our house is Tombstone versus Jack's Pizza for the best, cheapest. Well, okay, Kendra, I appreciate your description of it. Well, first of all, there's no comparison. Tombstone is better than Jack's if it's just the basic Jack's. Because basic Jack's Pizza, I could probably eat 3 of. There's so little substance to it. It's like a little wafer you're eating. So I think Tombstone's definitely better than Jack's. But I do appreciate that you're putting it into a category, the cheap pizza. I think I could get along well in your household because I would have those same very discussions. And I guess believe me, I've had my share of Jack's. I've had far more Tombstones. But yeah, it doesn't Jack's come in like really thin. It's, again, you almost don't even realize you're eating it. It feels like you're eating like a pack of saltines with a little bit of ketchup and a little bit of cheese on it. I mean, it's still pretty tasty because, again, it's pizza. Somebody says, I sacrifice my candle. I don't sacrifice anything. I have a hard time even killing bugs. Hold on. I haven't gotten into my story. Lots of mozzarella, delicious. They have that in Wisconsin. I don't know. I wonder. I think I maybe have seen it. On a side point, why no hair on the head? Pizza causes happiness. Thank you, Kendra. So you must like the Tombstone better as well. Good morning. And again, I've already said good morning to you. Hello, Brian. How are you? Brian, I was wondering about you. I saw a couple of your Facebook posts. And I wanted to say, hell yeah. I think you asked, hello, Julie Flanagan. Does anyone feel like they're just working? I don't know how you phrased it, but it didn't seem like a very light-spirited Facebook post. And I certainly have felt that way lately. And certainly felt like a cog in the machine that all the youth of America are complaining about right now, that it's harder to pay their bills and find housing, and I don't know, they're bitching and moaning. I'm trying not to get dragged down into that and bitch and moan. I'm trying to take responsibility, and I am. I'm just a little tired right now. You like Tombstone, DiGiorno, Detroit style, and Home Run Inn. You know what's also nice? Red Baron's got a pretty good cheap pizza. Kendra, if you want to throw another thing, I don't know if you've ever had Red Baron pizza. As far as the cheap pizzas, like the $3 to $4 a piece a pizza, Red Baron's pretty good as well. Good morning, Game Genie. Good result for us this weekend. I've given up finding jobs you love. I'm going to live the life I love, says JoJo. Red is bomb. I think Red Baron is good. Yeah, the thin crust, but even they have different crusts. The thin crust is good, but they have a kind of medium-ish crust that's pretty nice too. Schadenfreude makes their own. If you like that. You've had Red Baron pepperoni and jalapeno last week, and it was excellent. Yeah, again, I think I would say Red Baron and Tombstone are equivalent in terms of their quality. And I'd say Jack's is clearly a step below. What do I have? Like a Roma in the freezer. That I'm probably saving until I have my kids up next. I'm really not. That sounds cruel. But my kids, I don't think, understand the fine varieties of pizza yet. I have to explain to them. I don't want to spoil them with my Home Run Inn fetish, because then they might never want to have a Tombstone or a Jack's or a Red Baron again. Julie Flanagan, I mean, she's very wise as far as some topics, but A, she needs to breathe a little more. B, She says Papa Murphy's is best. I've never even heard of that pizza. Good morning, Don Carlson. We could just have a fun talk. Maybe I don't need to talk about solving the world's issues or politics or faith. Maybe we could just do this show. I could just sit here and drink my coffee and we could talk frozen pizzas. Hold on. Frozen pizza in the UK is surprisingly way better. No, it's not. I mean, I haven't been to Britain in 30 plus years, but all I remember about pizza in Britain was them throwing it in the deep fryer at the fish and chip shops, which might not be a bad idea, but I was still surprised. Somebody throws out some DiGiorno. Who did IU play last night? I wouldn't be surprised if they win it all. They crushed the Illini, my fighting Illini earlier in this year. It was an early game, and we were ranked like 8th in the country, and they were ranked 18th, and they beat us like 60-14 or something, and completely crushed us. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're the best team in the country. What time is it here? It looks super early. It's 7:12. Papa Murphy's is not frozen. It's take and bake. Oh, all right. Wait, is that what Julie was trying to sneak by me? Oregon. They crushed Oregon? Okay, good. All right. Well, Julie Flanagan, you're trying to sneak by. I don't even know what this take and bake means. While we're talking pretty good pizzas, if we can, I really need to get to my coffee before it gets cold. I haven't gotten to that part of the intro. What's the gas station? Not Quick Trip, Julie, but it's the red one. It's like one of the top sellers of pizza in the country. What's the gas station? It's got like a red awning over it. Country Store or something like that. They have Casey's, thank you. Yeah, their pizza's amazing, by the way, if you're looking for gas station pizza. But it's not, to call it gas station pizza, it's, again, I think it might be the 4th largest seller of pizza in the United States, and it's amazing. Yeah. But anyway, for those that have been watching a while, you know it's not just a show about me diving deep into the goodness or lack thereof of various frozen pizzas. But as I said before, and somebody else told me this, I didn't create it, pizza's kind of like sex. Even when it's just okay, it's still pretty good. So anyway, as I was saying, this is also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And with that in mind, I've got a nice hot cup of coffee. I added extra grounds to it. It's the sea salt caramel coffee. And I am looking forward to having my first sip. My hope is Little Caesars is rancid. I don't know that it's rancid, but I'd consider it somewhat worthless. Rancid means something else to me. My first sip, my hope is wherever you are and whatever you're doing, that you have a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. Oh, I tell you, I bought some sea salt toffee a couple weeks ago by Seattle's Best. And I'm drinking the sea salt caramel. And I'm not totally sure if that's the exact same thing. It's a different brand, so it's certainly not the exact same brand. It's Cameron's Coffee. And maybe I'm just playing mental tricks, but I'm longing for the sea salt. Maybe I just like saying sea salt toffee coffee. What about Costco pizza? I don't know if I've ever had pizza from Costco. Do you know they didn't hire me? I mean, I told them I couldn't work on Sundays. It was about 3 years ago, and we had just worked out parenting time. And I had my kids. I have two little ones. I have four beautiful kids. I had my little ones, and I was not pleased by it, but for short periods on Tuesday and Thursday and Sunday. And they were very little at that time. I mean, they were very little. Evie was just a baby. Yeah. But either way, I had them short periods, like all day on Sunday and a few hours on Tuesday and Thursday. And I mean, I never liked that setup. I'd rather have chunks of time, of decent time. But again, when it's a baby, it really complicates things. But either way, I had my kids on Sundays, and I was looking for again, was totally clueless how I was going to pay the bills. Not that Costco would, but either way, I heard it was a good place to work for, and they were hiring, and it was a seasonal job. And I met with this woman, and I mean, she was a young lady. I mean, she had to be like 22, and I was 55. But again, I think I would have struggled there. I think so often in life, I think I can change the world. Yesterday, by the way, it's snowing outside. Yesterday, I taught, I'm a substitute teacher part-time, and I did it 4 days this week, so it really wasn't part-time, and I'm going to work as a bartender in, I don't know, 7 hours. 6 hours today. But either way, I got through the day yesterday. I certainly didn't change the world, do a great job teaching geometry, or hugely impact any of the kids' lives that I had in my class yesterday. And I think that's usually my goal. That's where I set the bar. I like to be the best teacher ever, or to make learning fun, or to touch the kid that doesn't want to learn and make them get up and do theorems on the chalkboard or something. Make this huge difference. And I think I set the expectations a little higher than I need be. And I did a good job getting through the day and saying what needed to be said, but also picking my battles at certain spots. I guess what I'm saying is, I don't think I had a chance. I don't think I got a chance at a lot of the classes I walk into. I don't know any of the kids. I often have never been in the school, and I have no idea what we're supposed to talk about, or how it's going to go, or how to log into a Chromebook. But I did the best I could, and I got through the day, and I think that's what I needed to do. Good morning, Mr. Crisp. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, well, teaching the necessary content, but I think if you walk in, you have no idea what the rules of the road are in terms of anything. And I mean, I honestly don't. And I can't believe the kids are even allowed to be on computers, which are their Chromebooks, which are oftentimes their chief, especially with subs, teaching device. And a Chromebook is just a click away from YouTube or videos or video games. And in my mind, I wish the educational system, and again, I'm an old fart. Jaws is bringing up hypotenuse. I remembered what a hypotenuse was, but they were talking about like side angle side. And to me, that's something so deep in the recesses of my brain that I don't remember what it was or what it is. And I don't need it explained. I could Google it if I cared. Or congruent triangles. And it seems like congruent triangles are just the same triangles because they got the same angles and the same sides, which make them the same. I don't know why they have to come up with a fancy word like congruent for the same. You know what I mean? Good morning, Rebecca Tilley. Somebody said that's got to be a hard job. Well, somebody's throwing out like isosceles, but again, we weren't talking just shapes. And again, I don't remember what an isosceles triangle is either. But again, clearly, we don't use it a heck of a lot. And then I had one of these super smart kids. I asked them if they'd seen Good Will Hunting. And Jaws is still traumatized by geometry and trig. I liked it when I was there. Somebody says because congruent is an academic term for matching, you guess. But, right? And I was even asking, I'm going, well, why don't they just call it the same? Because I could get it. Because, okay, let's talk geometry for a minute because we don't often do it. You could have a triangle with the exact same angles and different length sides, and it wouldn't be the same. Because the sides would all be longer. So it could be a bigger triangle. To me, that's what I think congruent. That would be a good use of the word congruent. Because if congruent just means the same, I would prefer we use the word the same triangle. Although I guess it's not truly the same if there's two of them. Because if it was truly the same triangle, there would only be one of them. You took intermediate algebra 4 times before passing. But in your case, let it qualify for the adaptive services. Hard to stay awake in geometry, not interesting at all. I'll tell you what, there was a kid, I don't think that made any effort to trying to stay awake. I mean, made no effort to stay awake whatsoever. And I was going, huh? It seems weird. Went up and asked if he's okay. He looked at me like I disturbed his sleep, and I did. Let him sleep. Yeah, Julie. But again, it's weird because I don't know what the rules are. I mean, can I yell at him? Do I send him to the principals? Do I fail him? Do I? I needed Julie Flanagan there to put him on mute. You would make a better geometry teacher than the one I had. Well, no, I don't doubt that I would. But the problem wasn't the topic of geometry is what I'm saying. And granted, I don't know geometry anymore. I used to. But the problem wasn't the subject matter. The challenge is in the class management. And I think I got vastly better managing the class and expectations as the day progressed. So I think I improved as a substitute teacher because my class management skills got better. And I had a somewhat idea of what to expect. Plus, kids get up, they take their work out into the hall, they go to the bathroom, they need their water bottles filled up. I told one girl who said, "Oh, I didn't bring a water bottle." I go, "Oh, you'll be okay." "Oh, what? You want me to be dehydrated? It'll just make it harder to learn." I go, "Oh, you'll survive." Somebody said, "Be there without ego. You can't control everything." No, I know, but that's kind of what I was getting at. I was going, all right, well, I could get angry here that they're not doing this and be disruptive for the whole class, or just let the people that want to tune out, tune out. So I was kind of proud of myself, actually. Jojo said, "We never learned when we had a sub. They were more like babysitters." And I hate to say, I guess for a little bit, I was a little disappointed that I felt like that too. You know, I felt like I wasn't going to, yeah. Yeah, I didn't feel, I was there and I think I did my best to keep them on task and probably did as well as the teacher could, outside of the kids that had no interest in learning. Maybe they had tricks for them. But that was me and I tried, but I just, uh, I don't know. I think it went fairly well. It's hard to step in and make a difference, contribute to their education. That is actually, classroom management is all about relationships and, yeah, subs pop in and out. Yeah, I don't even know who these kids' names are. But I mean, I'm fairly good at building relationships pretty quick. If you're a long-term sub, you can develop the relationships that allow more learning. If they're on the tats, that's all you can do. No, I think so. Somebody blames geometry. Well, you think it was geometry's fault? I don't know if there was anything to blame outside of, it was, I think, sort of mentally draining. And again, I subbed 4 times this week. Each was in a different school. A couple of them I got called early on as I'm about to head out to a school and got diverted to a different one. Somebody's a personal assistant. You have to manage personalities without ruffling feathers. You break out a thermos pass around cups and let them have coffee with Ken. That would have been a hell of an idea, Joss. I should have brought a giant thermos of coffee and said, "No, you can't go get some more water, but what we can have is some coffee with Ken." Jojo said not enough pay. Well, I don't think it's enough pay to pay your bills, and it's not intended to be. I'm not expecting them to pay me more. I was a little disappointed because I talked about it yesterday. There was a couple long-term sub positions that were opening up, and I talked to the, I don't know, school districts. And again, there's so many subs coming in and out of schools. They have sub coordinators at the school district who tries to keep the classes filled with teachers as best she can and decide which school needs little help on a given day. And I talked to her, and one of the positions I didn't have enough experience at this specific area, because most of my experience is in what's called crosscat, which I still don't know what it means. But I think it means kids that need a little special help, if you will, and less on the general education. And I don't doubt that. I've seen teachers even substitutes with a ton more experience to seem to have, even with little ones, control and of the class and, doing hand signals and seeming like they've taught for years, and perhaps they had, and that's not me. Somebody said, always let them go to the bathroom or get a drink. You can get in hot water for denying that. Oh, I denied it once to one person. They were sitting with somebody. I'm not sure if it was a relationship. It felt like they were very close, though. And I was talking to them, and one of them asked if they could go, and I said, okay. And I walked away, and 10 seconds later, the other one came up and asked if they could go. And I go, no, you can't. You can go when your friend gets back. I mean, can you get in big trouble? How big a trouble can you get? Nobody told me I could get in big trouble for using common sense. If they pass out, school could get sued. I don't think this child was in a near-death experience. Yeah, Julie. I mean, if I get in trouble for saying that no, the other one had to wait till the one got back, if they want to get me in trouble, go ahead. I mean, I've done way worse things. I would consider basic common sense. Kids tell parents. Well, kids tell parents all sorts of things. Again, I'm okay. I'd be okay if I got let go for making a basic judgment call. Otherwise, I'll just get up and want to go to the bathroom the whole time. Why do they even need to ask? Oh, that's nice. I'm not totally sure it's the same as the toffee coffee. So, my thought was, as I got rejected for the long-term sub position, I didn't get rejected. Once I didn't have the experience, which is true. The second wouldn't offer a bump in a pay because it was an educational assistant long-term position, and I don't want that. I want a bump in pay if I'm going to commit. And I told her, for me to make a commitment to this, I can't commit to a job that's barely going to pay my bills, if at all. Am I questioning this new career path? No. I mean, I wouldn't call it a career path. I think I'm substitute teaching. Yeah. Your school has a no pass list. Those kids have a record of abusing the pass system. Hey, let's show a little powder on the ground. Oh, and it's just snowing a little bit, but it's probably, for anybody in Australia, that's probably exciting. It's even a little exciting for me. We've had wettish weather over the last couple weeks, and just with temperatures just above freezing. It's weird. Julie, there's a playoff game tonight with the Bears and the Packers, right? I think there is. I haven't worked at the restaurant or the bar in a couple weeks. Therefore, I feel somewhat out of touch with the sporting events that are going on. But I'll tell you, if you're working at a bar and your work is about maybe I don't know, 3 miles at the furthest from Lambeau Field, which is the home of the Green Bay Packers. A lot of people talk about the football games going on. But if you work in a school, I don't know, it just didn't seem anyone was really that excited about it. I was a little surprised. Let's put money on it. All right. I want the line, though. You guys we might be favored. So, Julie, well, you're a woman, Julie. And because of that, I almost don't even want to do it with a line, which I'm being a little sexist. Wait, Packers by 10? There's no way the Packers are favored by 10. There's no way the Packers are favored by 10. But if you want to bet $10 on it, I'd be happy to. Packers favored, what's the line? There's no way it's by 10. By 1.5. What team am I? I'm the Bears. Okay, there's one today at Rams and Panthers. Well, there's the Bears. Let's not talk about two useless teams like the Rams and Panthers. Julie and I are working on a wager. Are we sure the Packers are favored by 1.5? And that sounds about right. No, I'm not going to bet you people. I'm only going to bet Julie because she's a real human. Most of you aren't even real humans to me. Most of you, I don't know if you're trolls or your real names. Okay, the Packers get 1.5. Julie, are we satisfied with the line that these people are giving us? Okay. You'll bet $10 and you're giving me 1.5. And again, this is going to be a little sexist, Julie. Do you understand what the line means? You understand how betting works and the line. I don't want it to come down and you go, wait a minute. The Packers won 28-27. Yeah, but Julie, I got 1.5. I didn't know what that means. Well, Julie, I wish you would have explained that to me. So you know, and everyone here is witnessing, Julie understands what the line means. Again, this is sexist. I wouldn't be questioning Julie if she was a man. Your name is Steph. You're drinking Starbucks, and you're real. Well, Steph, who's drinking Starbucks, I appreciate that. Your dad was an athletic director. Yeah, but you were probably playing with dolls and flowers. All right, Julie, and I'm collecting. I don't care if you paid for Red Lobster or bought me a Green Bay Packer mug. I'm going to collect the $10. So I don't know if I have, or you're going to have to either sell me it. And I don't want to, if I lose, I want to pay you right away. I don't want to be carrying around that debt. I bet a guy at work, one of the jobs, $20 on the game, and I didn't see him for a few weeks after that, and I hated it. It felt like I couldn't end the guilt or the debt. I wanted to put it to death and give him the $20 and have it be over. Many men have no idea about sports. Come on, man. 55, that's not true. Most men have a lot of idea about sports. Some men might have no idea about sports. You might have to add another log on that fire behind it. You think so? It looks like it's doing real well. You'll be there to pick it up tomorrow. That almost sounds like a threat. Steve's going to knock on the door. Thud, thud, thud. Good God, Steve and Julie, you live 40 minutes away. You needed the 10, you spent more on gas than the $10. It to be. You tried to catch your mom asking her what a first down is. Well, I mean, it's cool. I just wanted to make sure Julie understood what the line was. She does. So she's going to come and give me my $10 tomorrow. But Ken, you ordered the Brussels sprouts. Hey, Julie, while you're here, you want a pizza? I'm not going to have that Murphy's stuff, but I'm going to cook you up a home run in pizza that's going to knock your socks off. Steve, sit back and relax. I was supposed to have my nephew up today. And again, I didn't realize I needed to work till midweek. Does Julie know what congruent means? Sure she does. It means the same. Did I play any college sports? Well, I actually did. I mean, I didn't play, but I did run cross country and track in college. I walked on to the University of Illinois. Well, thank you, Undersky. It is an official Coffee with Ken mug. We have a glorious audience today. It's been kind of a quiet show, but it's been a nice show. Again, I think every one of my shows, I got to change the world and talk about sobriety or mental health or making it through or inspire you guys to go out and lift some weights. It's okay if we hop on and talk about a little frozen pizza from time to time. And coffee. And the line. But anyway, so I'm working I'm going to be a waiter tonight I think I'm working at a big function. I think it might be a wedding that I'm working at. I'm working a wedding tonight. I will tell you what. A lot of the guests at this wedding are going, who the hell gets married on a Packers-Bears playoff day? You know what I mean, Julie Flanagan? I'm going to be a few miles from Lambeau Field working a wedding. And there's a Packers-Bears playoff game going on. I wonder if the dance floors, the poor bride. I actually feel bad for the bride a little bit. I mean, we have a bar with TVs that are obviously going to be tuned into the Bears-Packers game. But it's just going to be the bride and groom on the dance floor, and everyone else is going to be slammed into the bars watching the Packers get their ass kicked by the Chicago Bears. Why not the groom too? Because the groom's going to be watching the game with the boys. You hope I flirt with some bridesmaids going to the bar. I wouldn't put it past me to flirt a little bit with any number of people there. But I kind of flirt with everybody. I'm ultra friendly. Am I old enough to remember the fridge getting a touchdown? I certainly am. Even in the Super Bowl, he got one. It was one of Mike Ditka's biggest regrets that he gave the ball to the fridge and not to Walter Payton to score the touchdown. Is there a bar with TVs? Yes, there are. Jaws says he cheated sweetness out of a TD. I didn't love how Peyton handled that a little bit. And it was nearing the end of his career. But I thought Peyton could have handled it better, to be honest with you, than be angry that he didn't get a touchdown at the Super Bowl. To me, that's a slightly dark spot on his career, on an otherwise perfect, amazing career that he had. His handling of his disappointment at the Super Bowl, to the point that it was slightly a distraction. JB says some great football this weekend. Go Bears. Well, you know it. You know it. Again, I haven't done this job in 2 weeks. I'm tired. What a team that was. It certainly was, Josh. Not only was it completely dominating, but it had some amazing personalities. Steph, wait, Schadenfruit, are you Steph and you're drinking coffee and you know the Super Bowl Shuffle? You know Walter Payton's line from the Super Bowl Shuffle? He wasn't actually in the room filming that. I think he was like green screen before it was the green screen in front of it. Love Jim McMahon. He was the quarterback rebel. Wow, I'll tell you what, that team is such an all-time legendary team. Like, even to this day, if you polled the United States and said, what was the greatest team of all time? I think most would say that Bears team. I think it would win in a landslide. Not only were they dominant, but they had such amazing personalities top to bottom. You know, I could still almost name every player on that team. You did it in a talent show in the 5th grade at Victor. Oh, Stephanie, you're from Wisconsin? Does that mean you like the Packers? You always think about having a fork in your eye. Is that why he had a bad eye? Did he get a fork in it? Even their backup quarterback was in the Super Bowl Shuffle. Nancy says that's the first Super Bowl you remember. All right, so Nancy, you're a little younger than me. So wait, you did it in 5th grade, Schadenfruit from Wisconsin, or 6th grade or something? So I was probably, I was a senior in high school when the Bears won the Super Bowl. 6th grade. All right. So you're like 51 if I'm doing my math correct. Right, Schadenfruit? Jaws lived in Barrington. Was Barrington back then? I mean, it was wealthy when I was in, but I mean, was it more farmland than it is today, Jaws? And is most of the farmland in Barrington taken up? And is it now is that farmland just massive home after massive home? Somebody's telling me how to pronounce Schadenfruit. How dare you tell me how to pronounce it? I'm going to pronounce it any way I want it. The Super Bowl Shuffle made everyone Bears fans. You live close to Barrington. Oh, 55 does. Just for the record, 55 is 56. All homes now, okay. Oh. Wow, we're really going down memory lane on this Coffee with Ken today. Memories. Da na 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 na. Da na 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 na. The way we were. Remember the Patriarch song, the Patriots song? No, I don't remember the Patriots song. in response. It didn't go very well. And the Bears did, by the way, what was cool about the Super Bowl shuffle is the Bears didn't do it before the Super Bowl. They did it like mid-season. You can Google that. But they didn't do it right before the Super Bowl. They did it in like week 10. Seems a little cocky. Does Wisconsin have a lot of data centers? Virginia does. They are popping up like weeds. I don't even know what a data center is. I don't know what a data center is. By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, up here in Wisconsin, the Packers are so jealous of the Bears. They have a song about the Bears. They sure are trying. So a data center exists so we can watch videos of Stephen Hawking drop into a half pipe. Oh, I wanted to talk about that. So data centers are some sort of thing where we make AI chips or do AI. It seems to me like AI wouldn't need huge amounts of stuff to be smart. Okay, I watched a song. I watched a video. We have data centers popping up all over Wisconsin as well. Ned says AI is going to root us. Data centers is a building full of servers. Wow. That sounds very Terminator-like. I need to make sure my local government doesn't let them move in. I'm just trying to pay my rent. And you want me to make sure the local government doesn't let data centers move in? That's just not something I can fight. That's not something I'm going to fight here. Schadenfreude says data centers are the devil. Ken Vermeer. Rumor would get out that I'm a Bears fan. Word would get out. I'd be tarred and feathered and thrown on the train and sent back to Chicago. Before we talk too much about Skynet and data centers, I watched a video online, and it was supposed to be America's Got Talent. And it was supposed to be, and maybe somebody's seen it, a homeless 59-year-old singing a song. And I've already ruined it. But I kid you not, they were showing the audience, and it was a beautiful song, and it was well sung. But I was looking at the homeless dude, and I'm going, is that really what a homeless dude looks like? Yes, he's 59-ish, he's got a long beard. But his clothes, although they almost seemed fakely, like he had a flannel and a jean. It looked sort of homeless, but too put together, like very intentionally put together. And he had like a folded up coat over his flannel shirt. And I actually cried during the song a couple times. And then at the end of the thing, they go, this didn't actually happen, this was AI. And I'm going, I feel cheated. I feel cheated. What do I think of Caleb Williams? The guy that I lost $20 today, who's a Green Bay Packer fan, thought Jordan Love was a better quarterback. And I said, you got to be kidding me. I mean, Caleb Williams is in season 2 of his young career. And last year, I feel so good for him having a good year this year. Because Bears fans, they won, I think, the first game of his career. And he was getting ripped on by Bears fans, saying he's going to be another bust. I like him a heck of a lot. Not only is he hard as hell to tackle and fast as heck and can gain yards with his feet, he seems smart enough when he's in trouble and outside of the pocket to throw the ball out of bounds. And that's such a huge thing in its basic football smarts and leadership that a quarterback needs to know how to do to keep a drive going and avoid a big loss and just line up again. So I like him a lot, and he's improved a lot over the last year. And I think his career is extremely bright. I think if you shuffled all the quarterbacks in the league and let the general manager pick a quarterback to start a franchise with, he would be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. You say Caleb has the clutch gene. Yeah. You think of guys like Jeff George, and that's going a long time back, or who threw for the Bears? He was a Denver quarterback. He's from Vanderbilt. He did not have the clutch gene. He had the pouty, bitchy face gene with the rifle arm. Somebody says the Mendoza kid. Is that the quarterback for Indiana? Cutler. Yeah, Cutler sucked. Julie has him on his fantasy team. Yeah, and I don't know how he's doing numbers-wise for fantasy, but I think in his second year, the growth he has had, he could have, and this is going to sound silly, but he could have like a Hall of Fame career. I think he's got a huge upside and smarts. Somebody called it the clutch gene. But again, football smarts, like I'll see him run it. He throws a lot of balls out of bounds. And I think that shows a high football intellect, that he's avoiding taking a 10-yard loss and just going next, let's get back to the line of scrimmage and do it again. Yeah, I don't know. I've only watched one game, Live to Fight Another Day. Jaws, so you might know what I'm talking about. I've not seen a quarterback throw more balls out of bounds, which normally I wouldn't like, but he scrambles and avoids and tries to create something, and if it's not there, he's still able to avoid, to give the team a few more seconds for his receivers to get open, and then he manages to throw the ball out of bounds and not take a big loss. So he's almost giving them like new downs just by his scrambling ability. Like he'll avoid a sack in the pocket, run out of bounds, or not run out of bounds, run to the sidelines and dance around for a few seconds, waiting for a receiver to get open. And if it doesn't happen, he throws it out of bounds. And I think that's why they're winning. You never thought of that. There's no penalty for throwing out of bounds. No. You never thought of that? No. And again, he that's why I think they are clutch, because he does avoid the sack. He gives them extra time. He runs to the sidelines, avoids tacklers, keeps his eyes looking downfield. And if nothing opens up, he throws it out of bounds. And he does it more than any quarterback I know of. And I think that's probably a huge skill. Geno Smith forces it. I don't know who Geno Smith is. The name's familiar. Yeah. Well, we have a fairly glorious audience today. This has been a fun show. This is, because I woke up and I'm going, wow, I'm tired. School was kind of challenging. I'm not really looking forward to work. I miss my kids. My oldest daughter flew off to Thailand last night, and I wasn't even with her at the airport. She FaceTimed me about half an hour. I'm going to cry, but she FaceTimed me about half hour before she got on the plane, or an hour. I cried a little bit. I wish I could have been there. Her mom was there. So either way, I felt the weight of the world was weighing down on me, and I was going, do I really want to get out here and say how awesome life is and how faithful I am and great my day was when I'm not feeling it? No. So we kind of went in easy talking about frozen pizzas, data centers, and football. Jaws, since you pop up, I'm almost thinking of skipping to the New Testament. I don't want to go deep into the Old Testament, but it's crushing my faith. It is destroying my faith. The writers of the Old Testament are just going, ah! This guy's faith wasn't secure. We're going to grind him to dust with the Old Testament. You do enjoy my channel. You mod for a lot of channels, but this is nice, polite, quiet corner, and to just sit and muse on things. You think Jordan Love has a higher football IQ than Caleb? I think Jordan Love sucks. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Bears fan. I've watched the Bears get crushed for the last 30 years by Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers. And those guys scared me. Jordan Love has never scared me at all. Jane Lynn says, forget the Old Testament. Wake up and smell the coffee. I'm smelling it. Jordan's above average. I don't even think Jordan's above average, Jordan Love. He doesn't scare me at all. And I'm just saying that a few weeks ago during the Bears game, Jordan Love got hurt and their backup came in. And I was watching it with some Packers fans. And I'm going, believe me, as a Bears fan, I'm more afraid of this backup than I am Jordan Love. I've never been afraid of him or think he's going to win the game. I'm not saying that he hasn't maintained some dominance of the Bears, but I don't think it's because of him. I almost think it's in spite of him. The Bears would never have beaten the Packers when Jordan Love plays the whole game. Man. All right, Madame. Thank you for tuning in today. Please subscribe. You don't want to miss a minute of Coffee with Ken. Try reading the Four Agreements. It's good for the spirit and short. Wait, the Four Agreements? I didn't like that book, if it's the book I'm thinking about. I didn't like that book either. I've read a lot of good books. You want to read a easy, good, feel-good book is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. You feel like Jesus stepped in and lit up an archaic, brutal religion, and I basically throw out anything other than his words and let it mostly love your neighbor. Still working on that one. Again, if you read the Old Testament, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Let's talk Tombstone Pizza. Schadenfreude said the Four Agreements changed your life. We only have, somebody's given a shout out to the mods. We only have one mod. All right, well, thank you for subbing. We only have one moderator. It's interesting, and I can say this. I talk a lot on my channel about, and I need to let it go. It's not my responsibility. You guys are not my responsibility. I have people in here that I think almost look at this show as like an AA meeting, and that as long as they stay connected, they gain strength in their own sobriety from watching my show. I think watching me here every day, knowing I haven't drank in 4.5 years almost, gives them whatever they need, whatever they feel they need to stay sober. Occasionally, I have viewers that will not watch for a while. And I must say, even though I say I don't take attendance, I worry a little bit about them. But it's not mine to worry. You can't need coffee with Ken to stay sober. You gotta stay sober because you want to. You can't do it because you watch me every day and that's gonna keep you through it. Because I'm not here to be your mama or your dada or your anything. You gotta do it because you want to do it. You can't do it to impress me. But either way, I had a longtime viewer who hasn't watched in a while, who I may have seen having their first drink in a while on a different social media channel. And it kind of hope they're okay. You studied the Old Testament as part of a literature degree in college, and it was amazing. You wish you had time to read the New Testament in the context, so maybe I can find a good course somewhere. Part of a literature degree in college. Well, that would be interesting, because at least you could rip it apart and say, wow, this is the worst chapter in literature that's ever been made. I don't know if that would be Joshua chapter 15 or Numbers chapter 7 that I would vote as the worst chapter in literary history. What, did I just say that? What's cool for me, Jaws, if I may break my arm, pat myself on the back, is that I can cite specific books and chapters now. So in that sense, I feel kind of cool, like a little like cooler than you guys, because I've actually read the Old Testament. And I can cite specific parts, and people can go, oh, it doesn't say that. I go, BS, it does, read it. You had to take an entire class on the Old Testament as a prerequisite at your college. You took a class on it, but does that mean you read it word for word? It seems strange that they would require you to take a class on the Old Testament at your college unless it was a Christian college. I think it'd be a great class. I think it'd be an amazing class, and I might be interested in taking a class on it. But my thesis might be, it sucks. Somebody said Old Testament actions happening in the biblical lands right now. They're always happening in the biblical lands. No wonder anyone says, oh, what's going on with Israel and Palestine? Duh. Read the Old Testament. It's always happened. Read chapters and discussed. Okay, so you didn't read it cover to cover. And I wouldn't recommend, I strongly would not recommend you read the Old Testament cover to cover. It's horrible. Don't get me going. Stop me, reel me in. Talk frozen pizzas, talk football. Hell, talk Donald Trump, talk Kamala Harris, talk Minnesota shootings. Get me off the Old Testament before I start ranting and raving like a fool about it. You've spent about 5 years studying theology, not for school and personal interest. Great follow-up to the Old Testament. I'm not sure I want to follow up to the Old Testament. I'm not sure I'm going to keep reading it. It's horrible. Stop me. It'd be good to read the Gospels of Thomas. Is that the hidden books? Well, Jaws, I think things happen for a reason too. But again, okay, Jaws, you might have been watching the other day. I had a guy that's a very devout, I would say nutbag Christian watching me and saying how I'm speaking dangerous things and I shouldn't be speaking like this, as if I was going to get struck by a lightning bolt. And I find that a huge put off. So I told him not to watch my show anymore. Because I'm going to be me. God gave me an inquisitive mind and the will to pick up the darn book. And he didn't tell me to be stupid about it. He wanted me to question it. What's the most helpful part of the Bible then? I have no idea. I haven't gotten to any helpful part of the Bible. I spent 3 months reading and none of it inspired me at all. Frozen pizza, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, all safer topics than me. I've put a lot of time in it. I've been reading like 15 minutes a night for 3 months. I was looking for inspiration and I found none. Oh, I almost drank my can. Just because your head's shaped like a missile doesn't make me a rocket scientist. Well, it's a good start. It is a good start. And if I'm not the rocket scientist, at least I'm the rocket. What a glorious audience. What an easy show. What a fun show. Kind of light and airy today. Somebody says the New Testament has a lot of good stuff. Well, I hope so, Ned. It's the #1 selling book of all time. I'm telling you, they could charge half the price if they get rid of the crap at the beginning. Did I say that? Oh. When I go to church and read, it sinks in differently than by myself for some reason, and it's amazing. Gotta go to a good place. But they're not reading the Old Testament to you. They're picking and choosing little nuggets out of the New Testament that might be great. They're not. They might bring up Caleb or Hagar or Sarah or Abraham, but they're really picking and choosing what they're talking about. If you dig into all the stories, it's all fairly gross. Abraham had sex with his wife's slave and had a child and then sent them off into Never Never Land to go lead other tribes that probably got slaughtered by the people of Israel. And then he conceived a child when his wife was like 100. It's all fairly nasty. The way Jesus protects Mary Magdalene is a big change. Yeah, God would have just had the people stone Mary Magdalene and called her a whore. Seriously, that's the thing, and I haven't gotten in the New Testament. God would have just had her stoned to death and called her a whore. That's a good summation of the difference. And again, I haven't gotten to the New Testament, but that's my feeling of the Old Testament, and I'm supposed to find spirituality from it. It's not like Jesus should have invented forgiveness or kindness or love. Don't get me started. Here, somebody talk about Trump. What's Trump's next move? All right, let's talk Trump. Let's talk. Can we talk Trump for a little bit? Julie, tune in. Do you guys want to? Do you guys want to? You're right. That was the right thing to do in Old Testament. Well, if she was sleeping around on a Sunday, you'd definitely stone her to death. He may or may not have stoned her to death for being a prostitute, but he definitely would have stoned her to death for doing it on a Sunday. Oh, that's nice. Huh. I'm just pausing. I'm wondering if anyone wants to follow up to encourage me to open up. All right. So does anybody out there want me to go a little deeper? To change the subject from the Old Testament, I've said everything I can about the Old Testament being horrible. I don't feel like I want to regurgitate that. Somebody says they're sick of Trump. Can we talk data centers? Maybe, but I don't know. Data centers interesting? I mean, how much can we talk about data centers? You know, I don't know. Does anyone support data centers? I don't even know what they are. If they're big warehouses where I think they're storing things. Okay, Schadenfreude says data centers give her a pit in her stomach. Did you see that volcano that erupted in Africa for the first time in 12,000 years? No. The Dow about to hit 50,000. All right. I'll tell you, as whatever Trump's doing, the stock market keeps going higher. Every day, like clockwork, for years. And I've been saying it for a long time. That's the biggest fear I have in the economy, is the fact that the stock market cannot go down. Cannot go down. And I'm telling you, I mean, it almost can't go down. This has been the easiest market in the history of markets to trade, because anytime it drips at all, you buy it and it goes straight up. All right, I'll slowly get into this. Trump wants to ban corporations from being able to buy houses, or companies from being able to buy houses. Can I say something? I'm going to say something totally politically incorrect and tough because I think it's kind of funny. And I'm not trying to make jokes about this. Game Genie said Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has blah, 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 blah. She's really pretty. That's all I have to say about Kristi Noem. She's amazingly pretty. She looks like she could have been a model. Somebody says the stock market always goes higher, but not without taking serious ass whoopings from time to time. Somebody said she's plastic. I don't know that she is plastic. You mean plastic surgery? I'm not sure. But either way, she's very, very pretty. She's almost distractingly pretty. And back to the housing thing. While it would be, again, I'm a smaller government believer. I'm a small government believer. And while I am concerned that the fact that these massive investment companies are buying up land and homes and farmland and making it harder for you and me to buy a home. I think the solution to it is a serious market correction, both in the stock market and the real estate market. The problem, I think, is that the government, who pretends to be for a capitalist system, decides that in 2008 and 2009 that certain banks are too big to fail. And if we're not going to let these companies that are taking aggressive bets, stupid bets, fail, we're destroying the downside in capitalism, and there is no risk. Like somebody saying, yeah, but the market always goes up. That's because you probably either A, aren't old enough to know it, see it get really ugly, or B, forget that it has. Because it can get really ugly. But the government seems to be stepping in and trying to create these soft landings. And if the market dropped by 15%, I'm worried Trump would suddenly try and create some law to support the stock market. And that's not what capitalism is. You can't take the risk out of investments. And I kind of think that's what the government's doing. Somebody says no business should be too big to fail. Yeah, if you're allowing the banks to package these high risk investment vehicles and sell them and scam people, you got to let those banks go away. And if you don't, we're no longer being capital, because I like speculation, and I like the dream of starting my own company, but you got to let the housing market pop. You got to let BlackRock go away. You got to be willing to let the big companies fail. Because if you don't, there's no risk for it. They might as well just do stupid things. And they do. Like buy up huge tracts of land. And if you're trying to keep the stock market going high, Elon Musk is going to be worth $1 trillion soon. And Larry Ellison and Jeff Bezos, they're all going to be worth $1 trillion. Because they have most of their net worth tied up in their own company's stock, and that stock keeps going up, and they can use it to buy everything. But because we're not letting their companies, their investments fail, and I think we should. Somebody said BlackRock will never fail. They have too much money and influence. Well, that's a problem. We should let them. If they make stupid bets, I tell you what, I'll bet you they are leveraging the crap out of their money to buy houses. Watch the housing market drop by 30%, and you're going to see BlackRock in a whole lot of trouble. The problem in my mind is if the housing market started going down, every homeowner in the world would cry about it and say, hey, Trump or Kamala or whoever's in office, save us, the housing market's crashing. Then the government would float down in and provide some artificial supports for the housing market, and they'd rebuild. But I think we need to let them get crushed. Have I seen Trump's crypto? I don't know what that means. Or Blackstone, I'm sorry. Blackstone. All it takes is for there to be more renters than homeowners. And boy, is that ratio getting close. What will happen when there's more renters than homeowners? Somebody said it's all about high yield credit spreads. That would kill the economy if there were more renters than homeowners? Somebody said they don't know what's fair. Fair is letting, I mean, life's not fair. Somebody lives in Austin, Texas, and if the housing bubble pops there, it will look like a bomb went off. Because the housing market has gone up so much in Austin, Texas. John Hoover. Yeah, my brother moved there 20 years ago or so and bought a house, and the real estate around Austin's gone crazy. Wouldn't companies make more money off of renters? Do you think corporations should be allowed to own and operate apartment complexes? I don't know why you would stop corporations from buying houses or apartment complexes. I don't know. Again, I think in a free market, corporations can buy houses and apartment complexes. So I don't know why you'd stop it. My fear is if things start getting ugly, the government's going to determine that somebody's too big to fail and bail them out, and they're not even taking any risk to do it. And there's actually nobody. I mean, they can lose their jobs, but if there's no risk, there's no capitalism. And I think the government is so quick to step in and bail out certain industries or banks or whatever. And I think that's part of the problem. Government should subsidize home purchases instead of electronic vehicles. Well, I mean, you're going to get me started with that. I mean, that goes back to previous administrations, I think. I'm not sure why the government should subsidize home purchases. If the government subsidizes home purchases, that's just making housing prices go up. You let the housing market drop 30%, you don't need the government to subsidize home prices. Has the price of the gasoline really gone down drastically? I mean, it's as cheap as I've seen it in a few years. It's $2.40 a gallon here in Wisconsin. So yeah, I'd say the price of gas has gone down. If there's no risk, there's no reward. Well, there shouldn't be. But we've created a system where you can take risk, but if the government bails it out, there won't be. Some people will be forced to rent and they will own nothing. Well, I rent. I don't hate it. But the problem is rent prices are going up too, just as fast as owning prices. I've looked at homes in central Illinois and the western suburbs of Chicago, and to rent an apartment anywhere is crazy expensive. Do I think countries should be allowed to invade other countries for their oil? Well, I'll just say this. I am amazed at the ease with which we took out the president of Venezuela. There was no war. We just went in and went bloop, and now he's gone. I'm amazed by that. You don't know why there's homeowners associations either? Well, somebody's got to decide something with the homeowners association, but I would hate to own in a condo complex or a townhome complex. Again, it's just another layer of government that can tax you and make rules. Do I still read the Bible? Well, I haven't for 2 days. I was so disgusted reading, I think it was Joshua chapters 15 and 16, that I had to stop and go, do you want me to keep going? And I kept going, but it was all horrible. We need more supply, and we'll get more buying. But you'll get more supply. I mean, again, I think supply and demand works. It's beautiful. I'm flipped all the way to the end. I apologize. I missed a lot of lovely comments. And I apologize, but I just had a whole bunch of comments and I couldn't catch up, so I've skipped to the end. Good morning, Jim Rad. How are you? WMCC says they never live with an HOA. If your house, there's no reason for someone telling you to do this or that. I mean, there's a lot of condos and townhomes out there, and I lived in a townhome complex once, and it was neat because we got all the new stuff and the pretty windows and the new construction smell, and really loved it there. But again, I didn't like having a small group of people decide all the rules of the association. And it's just a government right above you. It's just another layer of government. And they have an amazing amount of control over your life, which you might not want. And honestly, I think they're usually, the people that want to get involved in the HOAs are probably not like me, generally. You see lots of townhomes for sale, but almost as much as a home. Yeah, well, I mean, I think if this condo was for sale, it would be quite expensive. A lot of people don't want to mow lawns anymore. You own 10 rental units and doubled your rents in the last 5 years, says Thomas. Yeah. Smelly Cat said homes. So Thomas said he's doubled the rent in the last 5 years. So not only is he doubling the rent, but he's doubled his investment because he's gotten so much appreciation on the homes that he's owned. So he's getting more cash flow by doubling the rent, plus his initial investments doubled as well. So Thomas is making a killing. You know what would make Thomas hurt is if the market dropped by 30%. And I'm not picking on you, Thomas, but again, there's almost no risk to any investment right now because we try to, I don't know what the term is, but are trying to create a world where there is no risk. Somebody says it's the Federal Reserve changed how the money supply is calculated. Thomas said it's never going to happen. Thomas, as soon as you say never, that's when I think you're wrong. So we've touched on Venezuela. We've touched on corporations buying houses. Somebody said the Sumerians wrote the Bible. I don't even know who the Sumerians are, but God didn't write the Bible. And somebody came on my show and said, hey, it's just a book. And it makes me wonder, yeah, is it just a book? What do I think of Greenland? Well, it somewhat concerns me. And I don't know if we're really entertaining the thought of taking Greenland by force. But it somewhat concerns me that we're even talking about maybe using the military to take Greenland. Do you guys want me to get a little more coffee? Smelly Cat says, you're scared Trump has too much power. I mean, does he? Does he have any more power than anybody else? Any other president did? I think previous administrations used their power for dumb things that maybe weren't as harmful, but like giving incentives for electric vehicles or demanding that diversity be key to every corporation, and that there had to be, just things that to me seemed silly and unnecessary. And I don't have anything against anything, but if a company wants to hire all green people, they should be able to hire all green people. So I don't understand. It felt like the government was using its power for, I don't know. I mean, do we still hear him? I mean, is climate change and global warming almost, do we not talk about that anymore? Is that just kind of like acid rain and plastic bubbles and holes in the ozone? When he speaks, he sounds like he's the president of the world. I haven't been trained to hate Trump. I don't even hate Trump. I kind of find him amusing. He's only going to be in office 2 more years. And I don't know what the motivation was behind taking out the president of Venezuela. But honestly, I don't know what the motivation was behind pushing all sorts of programs down our throat in the last administration. The Canaanite cultures were under judgment, not just conquest. Their moral corruption would reach a full measure before judgment came centuries later. He's now talking about taking Iceland. Why would we take Iceland? I mean, it's beautiful. I'd like to go visit. But I mean, he says a lot of dumb things. I don't doubt that. Third Eye says the word ozone sounds like zone with a hole. Okay, let's just dig deeper into the whole Greenland thing. Okay, you could say it's owned by Denmark, right? I mean, but why does Denmark own Greenland? Why does Denmark own Greenland? Am I right that Greenland is owned by Denmark? Somebody says Denmark doesn't actually own it. But okay, they do. It's a colony or something. Why does Denmark own it? Why doesn't, that'd be like why, Britain used to own India too. But they don't anymore because the empire kind of collapsed. Why does Denmark own Greenland? Who does own, the 10,000 people that live on it own it? Greenland owns by Denmark and the Netherlands. Didn't a lot of the natives from Greenland settle? Were there ever a lot of natives in Greenland? USA must take Greenland. Okay. Canada will be next. Again, I'm for absorbing. What about Venezuela? Well, what about Venezuela? I don't know really what's going on in there. I'm not sure how we think we should run Venezuela or necessarily take its oil. I'm amazed with the ease with which we did it. Hate to bring up a dictator from the 1930s, but they also acquired swaths of land with great ease in the mid to late 30s. Greenland's not really green. It's icy, and Iceland is more green. I heard it was for the Vikings to lie to their wives. Greenland is a massive population. It remains with Denmark. Yeah, okay. Why does Denmark own Greenland? Because the Vikings colonized it, I don't know, 1,000 years ago? But why doesn't, Britain still own wherever, or Portugal still own Brazil? Yeah, I mean, is that just because it's part of the Danish Empire? And because they say they do. Yeah, I mean, okay, so why is it any different than Portugal owning Brazil? So what's the right solution to that? To turn it, how many people live in Greenland? Can somebody Google that for me? How many people live in Greenland? And if it's like 50,000 and they have this huge place, I mean, they're ripe for the pickings, and that's just kind of the way it's going to be. I just don't know how you stop that. Invasion should be more diplomatic. Well, I kind of would think so, but I'm not sure. Well, it's really not because all those other countries have asked for their independence from our initial owner. 30,000, so 34 million for the U.S. to leave Greenland alone. But what does that mean? 568,000? Somebody doesn't like people, off topic, okay. Donald Trump said he might take Cuba. 50-some thousand. Okay, 50-some thousand. So basically, we got an empty island sitting there. Okay, let's go deep into this. I'm going to get a little more coffee. And I'm not going to be here to kiss anybody's ass or be politically correct, and I'm not going to look at it from some crazy right-wing perspective or left-wing. I'm just going to talk this through. We've got a huge island basically empty sitting there. Think of it the way you're talking about attacking this Russia talk. But attacking a NATO member. I'm not talking about attacking anything yet. I'm just saying we have an island sitting there empty. UK said it would defend Greenland. Yeah, they wouldn't defend it against us. We should trade California for Greenland. Thank you, Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie, you're going to Little Chute? I'll tell you, I was up in Little Chute the other day. And do you ever go to Seth's Coffee in Little Chute, Stephanie? I really enjoyed it the other day. Okay, it's really nice. Take your mom there if you like coffee. Greenland, the 1880s. Who has Greenland? But again, you could say this about Antarctica. Nobody owns Antarctica either. It's probably got massive resources. Okay, let's take Greenland out of the equation. What if the U.S. wanted to go in and take Antarctica for its resources and mine the crap out of it and get all the oil that they have down there? Somebody said we will have Greenland and Venezuela. Okay, yeah, the moon. I mean, again, I was amazed that Trump, I was amazed that he changed it to the Gulf of America. There's 56,000 people in Greenland. Okay. I'm not sure we can say they own it. I mean, to say that seems... I mean, I like the sound of it, but if I move there, do I own 1 million acres if I move there? There's an international treaty establishing the rights of Antarctica. When you say there's a literal international treaty, I almost can't take you serious. Just to be honest. So let's take Brazil as well. Why not? Where does it stop? I'm not sure. Well, I mean, what are we doing with Venezuela? Trump doesn't come off like the sharpest tool in the kitchen. No, he's probably not. But I don't know. I have a perfectly shaped head. Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you. About why Denmark is Greenland. Yeah, no, Smiley Cat, there's no real reason for Denmark to own Greenland. I mean, I'm sure I could Google it too. I'm not overly concerned, but I don't see any reason Denmark owns it. But again, I'm not for invade. I mean, I'm somewhat concerned. Do people live in Antarctica? Not really permanently. And again, just because 10 people live there doesn't mean it's theirs. It sounds nice, but that's just not the way the world works. And I don't know how I feel. I guess I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, certainly I don't like the idea of us just invading places and taking them for the United States. And under the guise of overthrowing some drug-running dictator of Venezuela, I don't know anything about the dude that was running Venezuela. Somebody says, it's like he's treating the world like a monopoly board. Yeah, no, it kind of feels that way. Have I embraced AI? I don't know. I mean, I've used it to create some resumes. I was a little offended that I cried at a video I saw they made about a homeless guy singing at America's Got Talent, and it turned out to be fake. He's smart enough to become a billionaire, and he's president for 8 years. Smarter than most everyone, says Ray. So Ray's saying he's smarter than most everyone. He's ballsy as hell. I think he might be ballsy. And I'm not saying that's not a decent skill to have or attribute to have. It's kind of a bad idea to keep all these people in the same prison. Somebody said Trump is cool. Invading Venezuela, Iraq, and Greenland doesn't equate to better living for Americans, only more power and money for the few in the club, said Ned Bennett. I mean, did we invade Venezuela? Somebody said Trump is all right. It's unusual that anyone would have such a normal opinion. He's all right. Running Venezuela. We performed a coup in Venezuela. I mean, it was so easy. And I mean, I would imagine, it's a free country, that there's MSNBC or somebody is down there with cameras if there's angry people, right? I mean, it was so easy, it's done. I mean, what the heck were we doing with Fidel Castro for 50 years? He was a thorn in our side for 50 years. Is it because the Soviets liked him? Or is it because Trump, like it or dislike it, was just a little more firm with his actions than previous presidents? And I'm not saying it's right. Castro had Russian support. Yeah, he did. Putin scares you too. Yeah, I don't know how we can take a moral high road if we overthrow Venezuela and talk about taking Greenland. Somebody's talking about Antarctica. Smelly cat, I don't think the world's necessarily going to hell. Is Xavier Perez, are you really from Venezuela? Are you Venezuelan and do you live in Venezuela? Huh. I don't know if we're going to get to, I don't know how I feel. I'm a little concerned if we go in and take Greenland. I'm a little concerned. And again, the whole Venezuela thing just kind of happened. Okay, somebody says they disagree with the Greenland thing. Venezuela has no idea what's ahead. How can they be happy? I mean, I don't know. Do any of us have any idea what's ahead for them? I don't know. Disregard the results. Do I think we should, what, take Venezuela or Greenland? What do the majority of people in Greenland want? I mean, I don't know if we're talking a country of 56,000 that's a colony. I mean, if I move to Greenland, do I get a vote? You'd guess the people in Venezuela were trying to get him rid of Maduro anyway. Yeah, it doesn't, that happened so easily, it doesn't seem that he could have been very popular. If I become a citizen, these are only a few countries that aren't under control. We've been overthrowing governments for a long time, especially in Latin America, said Ned Bennett. Yeah, but at least, like in Grenada, taking of Grenada was harder than taking of Venezuela. I'm wondering how it could be so easily. You thought we wanted Greenland for the fishing or sardines. I bet you they have a ton of oil up there and all sorts of minerals. Does population determine ownership? I don't know. Greenland doesn't want it, honest. What doesn't Greenland want? Well, I don't have super strong opinions about any of this because I just don't get it really. But we've been talking for just about 2 hours. And we have a glorious audience of 50 people watching and 50 thumbs up. Greenland has 900 years of a lived population. It's a Viking island. I don't know that I'm sick of you. I just don't know if I have much more to contribute to this conversation. Or, I mean, I don't want us just taking over various countries. Again, I talk a lot about I don't like big government. And if you want to know my thoughts on the woman getting killed in Minnesota, if you put guys with guns all over the country, you're going to have some people getting shot and killed. And it's unfortunate for me. And again, I'm not even against immigration. So my thoughts on ICE are, I never really thought it was a great idea to be kicking indoors and sending people home. But I do think big government's an issue. I think I don't know exactly what's going on in Minnesota in terms of these Somali orphanages or daycare centers, but it seems like there was a scam going on there. And again, I think anytime big government gets in, there's more and more people with their hand in the pocket stealing things. And there's nobody that's really responsible for protecting the cookie jar very much. And therefore, bad stuff tends to happen. And I'm for smaller government, and I don't think taking Greenland or Venezuela is small government, and I don't think ICE is either, but I also don't think DEI was small government or these diversity incentives. And I just think when the government pushes mandates and forces things that don't make sense and stops free markets and capitalism, bad things tend to happen. And I think that's what we're seeing. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for joining right as the clock hits 2 hours. This has been a fun show for me. It's been an easy one. And I appreciate you all for being here. And if there's anybody new, I go live every morning. I usually talk for an hour or so. Talked a little longer today. It's Saturday morning here in Appleton, Wisconsin. We have snowflakes falling. I get to go be at work at 2 o'clock today. And I'm not sure what's going to happen between now and then. But I appreciate you for joining me today and spending a little time talking about life and pizzas and politics and AI. So again, I hope you had a wonderful week. I hope you are excited about your day. Hope you are feeling good. I hope you are loving yourself. I hope you are forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.